Good morning to you all. I am privileged to be able to present a paper in this August gathering, and I would like to thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to present. The topic of my presentation is Prevention and Management Strategies of Postpartum Hemorrhage at Different Levels of Health System in Bangladesh. Since last evening, you have been hearing about the progress Bangladesh has made in maternal mortality reduction, but nonetheless, the death from postpartum hemorrhage has not come down so much, although it has reduced to some percent, but still it is 31%. So I will focus on this, and during my presentation, I will first of all talk about Bangladesh scenario, then I will go into the key programs of the country which have been taken by the government to reduce the maternal death, and after that I will talk about the strategies. So the MDG 5 has been set for Bangladesh, and the target is that to reduce the maternal death from about 75% from what was in 1990, and the target is to bring it down to 143 for 100,000 live birth, and the death, the indicators, there are two indicators. One is the maternal mortality ratio, and the other indicator is skilled birth attendant, which is supposed to be brought up to 50%. And we can see that maternal death has declined 40%, and death due to PPH has declined even 25 to 30%, and we are on track, as you know. Before going into the Bangladesh scenario, I just want to give you an insight of the number of women who died in the last year due to postpartum hemorrhage in the different big medical college hospitals of this country in 7 divisions. You can see in the big hospitals who had a bed of about 600, ranging from 500 to 1250 beds, and admitting about 1400 or more than that women with obstetric problems, and they developed postpartum hemorrhage, and there was a death among these women who developed postpartum hemorrhage, and among the causes of maternal death, it came to about 15 to 20% of the death. In the context of Bangladesh, we have a very good infrastructure, and in this infrastructure, we have got facilities at all levels of the system, and we also have service providers. But it has already been mentioned that the facility, readiness of the facility is also important. So you can see that at the national level, there are about 35 centers, and there is in the 7 division, we have got 56 facilities, including the 18 medical college hospitals, and there is also the model clinics. And then after the division, we have the 64 districts, we have got 221 centers, facilities, including 59 district hospitals and 63 MCWCs. And in the sub-district, which caters to a population of 0.3 million, we have got 421 centers, including these are the Upazila Health Complex, which is the sub-district level. And after that, we have got the union, where we have got 5,168 centers. These are the union sub-centers, and also there are the satellite clinics. And below the union, we have got the wards, and these wards comprise of a number of villages, and these villages, in these villages we provide the primary service, and they have got the health assistant to give the service. And of course, in the community, this is the domiciliary service which is being provided. And you can see that the tertiary, most of the cases there are secondary service giving, and in the lower tiers the primary. Now what about the emergency obstetric care service? The comprehensive service is being given in all the medical colleges and the big hospitals, and in 132 Upazila Health Complex. And the rest Upazila, it gives the basic use. There is a very good referral network beginning from the community upwards. So if a woman develops complication in a community, and if the CSB is seeing her, she can refer the woman to the Upazila Health Complex, or directly to the district hospital, or the woman may be referred with problem from the Upazila to the district, and ultimately to the tertiary care center, that is a medical college hospital. Now, the key programs which the government of Bangladesh has taken to reduce the maternal mortality are strengthening of health facilities to provide emergency obstetric care service, the community-based skill birth attendant program, and there is the demand side financing and also the joint MNH program. I've already talked about the strengthening the facilities to provide EOC service. I talked about the comprehensive and the basic EOC. Now I'll give light on the other ones. So the CSBA program up till May 2011, a total number of 6,155 CSBAs have completed their training, and they're registered by the Bangladesh Nursing Council, and the target by 2015 to 2016 is to train 13,500 CSBS. But BDHS has done a study and which has shown that the coverage is still not so high, and the other activities are being taken to increase the coverage. Demand side financing is that it is the system in which the woman and also the service provider are being paid for the service. So if a woman comes, she will get payment for having delivery in the institute and also for getting a cesarean section done. So the coverage is about in 38 districts, about 46 upazilas have been covered, and about 1,13,181 pregnant women have got this service up till the March 2011. But as you have already been aware that the nurse midwife training program in Bangladesh is not satisfying the standards. So the government along with the UNFPA, they have taken a program to build up a new cadre. So that will be two tiers, it will be in two lines. The first one is those who are already existing nurse midwife, they will be trained for 6 months for post-basic advanced training, and there is a 3 years training for diploma for the freshly recruited nurses. Now I'll come to the strategies which are undertaken to reduce the maternal death from postpartum hemorrhage and for the prevention and management. And talking about the prevention, I will discuss about the policy level undertaken and also at the implementation level. In the policy level, we can see that the government of Bangladesh has taken up this in the Health Population Nutrition Sector Development Program, and this is the next 5-year plan where the government has taken up this one. And you can see that in the 5th and 6th bullet, we discuss about the to implement AMTSL at facility and to use misoprostol at the community. So it has been incorporated into the next 5-year plan of the government. What about the implementation level? At the implementation level, we talk about implementing for preventing it at the facility by active management 3rd stage of labor, AMTSL, and at the community by misoprostol. I would like to mention here that it is a concerted effort of the government, professional bodies like the OGSB, and also the other NGO partners who are working hand in hand with the government. So I would like to mention that this assessment has also been done by Engender Health in our country and also by OGSB. Engender Health, you will see a presentation later on this afternoon, and I will give a highlight on the OGSB what we did. We did a training for the service providers in different big hospitals. We went to the big hospitals all over the country, and we did training where we, for prevention of postpartum hemorrhage, we talked about the active management, and also we did the training on the management on different maneuvers, including the medical and surgical maneuvers for managing the postpartum hemorrhage. So before going into when we started the training, we did a pre-knowledge assessment. And you can see that there were some misconceptions among the participants. For example, in the use of oxytocin, which drug they should use for AMTSL, and then we talked about giving when will they give oxytocin, before or after delivery of the placenta. Then we talked about what will be whether they will wait for signs of placental separation or not before giving the oxytocin. And the last one is that when will they look for give the uterine message, whether before the delivery of the placenta or after delivery of the placenta. So all the misconceptions were cleared when we made the presentations, and we did a follow-up after 3 or 4 months, and it was found that majority of cases were being managed by active management. Now, the strategy is that at the facility where more than 28% deliveries takes place, AMTSC is the most effective and simple way, and it has been undertaken and integrated in the life-saving midwifery training. And in 25 districts, it has already been started and it is being scaled up also. Regarding the misoprostol in the community, use of misoprostol in the community, where more than 71% of deliveries are occurring, misoprostol is given and 2 tablets of misoprostol are being taken orally, and it has also been incorporated into the essential drug list of the government, and also it is being scaled up. Now coming into the management, what we are doing for the management at different level. In the tertiary care level, you know that we all know that management varies according to the cause, also according to the level. So if it is due to atony injury, or it is due to placental retention or for coagulation failure in the tertiary center, because if the woman develops DIC, then we have to have the concerted effort of other disciplines also. So in the big hospital, we have this, we can manage all the cases, and in the district hospital with secondary care, we can manage the cases efficiently because there is a consultant or the medical officer, and in the primary care level, we'll go for the management of the atony. We can give the oxytocin is given, and then the woman may be referred. So all the maneuvers for management are done, including the surgical one and also the retained placenta. And I would like to mention about this Temponet. It is a very innovative, although it is a new one, it is not new at this moment because all the doctors are at different levels of our country are using it in different facilities because of its simplicity and also because of its efficacy. So this is a glimpse of the technical training. In the upper, you can see that the active management of 3rd stage of labor, we are doing the training, demonstrating, and at the lower part, I am showing the management aspect. And these are some of the BCC materials which are used in the community for the misoprostol program. So, before concluding, I would like to say, I have not mentioned the challenges because we all know what are the challenges are. So, what are the opportunities for us? Demonstrated successful models of implementation at both the facility and the community. We have already seen things working. So this is a challenge, and we have got a very good, this is an opportunity, and we have got a very good infrastructure and the wide coverage with facilities and community clinic, and the public-private partnership is important. So I would like to conclude by saying that ensure universal AMTSL at all facilities can be done in a short time through a partnership between government and OGSB, and scale up community use of misoprostol to all parts of the nation. Thank you very much.